This is the video number 1 of a series of 5 videos about Microsoft project. On this series, I will teach you from the very scratch, from not even knowing what is Microsoft project about, to have a plan, professionally curated, tasks linked out with milestones, resource management, working hours and reports. Before all this, we will start from the project management concepts, and if you don't know the basics of how to manage a project, trying to learn this tool will become just too complicated for you. This video was a request from my greatest friend Andres Poli, as well as my other great friend Paolo Semanati, who constantly wrote me asking to create a video about Microsoft project. Links to their profiles are here in the description. Dear friends, instead of one video, I decided to create a series because Microsoft project is just too complicated to dare to explain in one single video, unless I want to create one of those 2 hours, 3 hours videos straightforward from beginning to end. I rather prefer to create small pieces to help you guys digest it better or focus to which place you want to learn more, from concepts to creating your project and reports and etc. This series took me a lot of time and effort to produce, and I truly hope that you and everybody enjoy it. Let's see the intro and get the video 1 started. I know. This intro is too long. I promise you, I have plans to make it shorter. This video will be about project management concepts, with no screen sharing this time. I strongly recommend you to either have your notebook or your OneNote handy in order to capture the key instructions that I will give to you here. By the way, if you don't know how to use OneNote, check out this link up here. It's one video that I created all about OneNote and how to use it. If you want to be more efficient in your career, you must get to know it. Project. Such a complex word to say. Project manager. It's one of the widest roles in the world. Virtually all industries have demand for a person capable to lead projects. Knowing this, I worked extremely hard and got myself one of the greatest certifications in the world, a PMP by PMI. PMP stands for Project Manager Professional, and it's also one of the most complex certifications to obtain. Check out here in the description a link to a claim website where you can confirm that I'm really a certified PMP. You see guys back here on the left side? That's my very certificate from PMI. This certificate helped me get a great job and relocated to United States, where I am right now recording this video to you. This knowledge granted me a good authority to talk about being a project manager, and a small part of this knowledge I will share here with you right now. This is mandatory for you to understand what is a project. If you believe you know enough about project management, then click up here and go directly to the video 2 where I do the software overview. What is a project? Project is a translation from current state to future state, and usually a better state. As per PMI, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service or result. A project is temporary in that it has a defined beginning and end in time, and therefore defined scope and resources. Guys, way too complicated words, right? I don't understand why corporations create so complex, fancy statements to explain simple things. Let's put it this way. An initiative to be considered a project must have a start date and an end date, and as a consequence, it's a temporary arrangement with a planned timeline. Good so far? It must deliver a unique product, service or result, aka scope, have a determined cost, aka budget, and be delivered by people, aka resources. Better now, project allow the creation of business value. PMI defined business value as the quantifiable net benefit derived from a business venture. The benefit can be tangible, intangible, or both. Examples of tangible elements are monetary assets, equity, public services, facility tools, and market share. Examples of intangible elements are good faith, brand recognition, public benefits, trademarks, strategic alignment, and reputation. Projects usually start due to the following reasons: comply with regulatory, legal, or social requirements, meet requests or needs of stakeholders, implement or change business or technological aspects, and create, improve, or correct product, process, or services. In short, projects are a key way to create value and benefits to organizations. Wanna go to the other extreme? Imagine that you are planning a trip. Have you ever thought that planning this trip is also a project? Most of you didn't, right? But it is. You are planning the start date and end date, right? You are planning how much money you want to invest on it, right? You are planning where you want to go, right? You are planning who will go with you, right? So you are talking about budget, time frame, scope, and resource. All elements that are foundation for a project management. There are other elements like quality and risks, but these I will leave out of the scope for now. Gantt chart or Gantt view. Gantt chart or Gantt view is the heart of any project which is well done. It's the heart of Microsoft project too. The Gantt chart's correct name is Harmonogram, but it got popularized as Gantt chart in honor to its creation, Henry Gantt. This chart illustrates how a project is scheduled. This chart lists the tasks to be performed on the vertical axis and time intervals on the horizontal axis. There are 4 types of logical relationships when creating these dependencies, and I will cover them in practice on the video 4. For now, let's see the theory about them. I will use same imaging as above, so for the sake of this sample, please ignore the percentage progress. Dependency 1, finish to start. This is the most common one, and means that once a task is completed, the next one starts right after. For instance, my activity B is to go to the grocery store and do the groceries. Once I'm done picking up my goodies, activity C is pay for the goodies. Following, activity C could never be done if I don't finish picking up all the goodies I need. Dependency 2, start to start. Whenever a task starts, its immediate dependency also has to start at the same time. For instance, when I was doing the activity B, I was not alone. I had my son with me, the activity A. So whenever I started picking up the goodies, I also asked my son to pick up the other half as well. So we were working in parallel for the same result, to the groceries. Dependency 3, finish to finish. Whenever a task is finished, its immediate dependency also has to finish at the same time. For instance, whenever my son and I, activity A and B, were doing the groceries, and then we went for payment, activity C, we could not leave the supermarket without my wife, activity D, to come and pick us up. She had to start driving before us to complete in order to arrive there at the same time as we both finished paying, in order to not park and pick us up right at the door of the supermarket. Dependency 4, start to finish. Whenever a successor task can't start if the predecessor task is not completed. For instance, a new accounting system can't start operating production if the predecessor accounting system isn't deactivated. This rule is extremely rare and very difficult to explain. I have done more than 20 projects and programs in my career and more than 100 plans, so I won't spend your time or my time here trying to explain it. All of these 4 types of dependencies can be either anticipated or postponed as well. So far so good? Let's take a break now and come back in 5 seconds. Hey, back to the real world here. This break looked like that iconic scene from Matrix Revolution when Trinity and Neo were running from the Sentinels, and in a desperate act they drove their ship towards the super electric charged clouds to kill them, and by accident they reached to the other side, above the clouds, and she saw the sun for the very first time, becoming the very first human in the Matrix context to see it in centuries. It's such a great move. Traceability Matrix. The requirements for your project to exist are usually tracked in a matrix called Traceability Matrix. This matrix is the Bible at your customer's eye, because here should be where you are telling them where each one of their needs will be delivered. In agile projects, this list becomes a backlog, and phase by phase you are sitting and defining with your customer when they want which feature to be delivered to them in a smaller chunk. Work breakdown structure. To get each phase to be done, to be executed, you must plan it. You must break the requirements in context and dependencies to plan it. One of the ways to do it is assigning tasks to the teams, making use of another structure called Work Breakdown Structure, or WBS. It will place each task in groups and hierarchical sequence, assigning unique IDs to each task and group, in a way that once you define the dependencies and relation for each task, you can determine in a good level of precision how much time your project will take. Best practice says that you should not go further than 5 or 6 levels down. Usually, 5 is good enough, just like this sample that I'm showing you right here, right now. The ideas defined in the WBS are also hierarchical, in a way that if your main level starts with 1.0, the next level is 1.1. If you have 4 levels under the main level, then they will be 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. If the first one had other 2 levels under it, they will be 1.1.1 and 1.1.2. This rule goes so on and so forth, and Microsoft Project created this structure for you automatically. So if you are using Project and trying this for the first time, you will be just fine, because Project does this automatically for you. Network diagram. A network diagram, or also called a schedule network diagram, is a graphical representation of a logical relationship, also known as dependencies, between project schedule activities. You can include details of the entire project or have one or more summarized activities. A summary description is a good practice in accompanying the diagram and describe the approach used in sequence of activities. As best practice, any unusual sequence of activities within the network should be fully described. On the next video, you will learn how to navigate through Microsoft Project UI, how to set it up for a new project. Here is where the vast majority of brave people endeavoring Microsoft Project put their life in misery by misjudging or by wrongly comparing Excel to Microsoft Project. Guys, there is nothing about Excel and Microsoft Project rather than that little tabular view. That is the only similarity between both, but using those cells are 100% different. Then, how to understand and configure your project resources, your project calendar, how to assign different calendars to different resources, how tasks are created in project, and how they are related one to another. Finally, 2 groups of ultimate tips. Group number 1, how to understand and why Microsoft Project calculates the tasks and project duration the way it does. It's far not obvious. How to make a wise use of milestones as anchors all along your plan. How to use the timeline built-in project itself. How to understand the task view. In this group, you will also learn why you can do some things and can't do others. Again, far not obvious. At the 5th video, I'll share with you a link to another YouTube video where I'll teach you how to configure a ribbon that I developed myself for a project to expedite the way you manage your tasks. That took me dozens of hours of development to produce, and I'll give it completely for free to you as long as you see the whole series. Do I need something in exchange? Of course I do. Your commitment that if you found it useful, you will kindly consider to subscribe to my channel, as well as give my thumbs up on each video. Deal? The subscription thing sounds very silly, very small, but guys, believe, for the YouTuber to get subscriber, it's the must. It's the greatest thing that could happen. This is like a Netflix. Whole series come ready all at once. The second video must be already appearing here on the right side. Just click on it and let's get started. See you there.